Article 28, required public input by petition. Should the town require any public board, committee, or general public meeting to include time for public input regarding anything that board or committee has control over at the start of each meeting? This will offer consistent and reliable opportunities for citizens to express their thoughts, insights, concerns, thanks, and ideas, which will foster understanding and transparency. Not recommended by the Board of Selectmen 4-1. I'll recognize Ms. Jacoby to present Article 28.
Can I face them?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you all. The reason I brought this petition warrant article forward, which is advisory, and is because at one point I needed to attend a Board of Selectmen meeting to speak to an issue regarding the planning board in order to address the liaison to bring my concerns to the planning board. I am asking that the planning board and other subcommittees that may or may not have an agenda out, that we as citizens all know that we have a right to speak at those meetings. And again, this doesn't say how long they have to give you or what the parameters are. It's just asking for an opportunity for the public to have public input at each meeting that is held. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll open Article 28 to questions, comments, or amendments. Anyone wish to speak on Article 28?
First, go ahead. You go first. No, you go first. Oh, my God. Go ahead. I'm going to let you do it.
Arguing about who's going first.
Just go ahead.
James Crowley, 4 Fairway Drive. I guess my first question is, I don't understand the logic of Board of Selectmen not supporting it. I need an answer to make an informed decision when voting in March. But I would like to make a point, too, is that at planning board meetings, which I attend generally, if it's not on the agenda, you can't bring it up. And I would think this would open it up more to public to bring up other things to various boards' attention.
Gee, you want to speak to
that? Would be the way it reads, yes. But it's advisory. This is an advisory document, warrant article that the boards could decide to do or not do, or move it around.
Okay. Well, hopefully people vote yes, so we advise these boards that, gee, it's a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes, ma'am.
Catherine Nardoni, 20 Maple Avenue. I just wanted to stand in favor of this. I was at a board meeting that I needed to speak at, and I couldn't talk until the very end. I was allowed to speak, but since I teach at Alberta and I'm usually there by 6:30, that was kind of an imposition, and I would love to have been able to speak earlier. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mary Joy Gazia, 4 McCann Road. I actually speak in opposition to the petition. We already have public input at all of our board meetings, and my issue with this petition and the way it's been portrayed by some of our citizens online on social media is that the Board of Selectmen was trying to take away the ability for any of us to ever speak, which is 100% untrue if you watch the meeting that generated all of this. So we already have public input. Yes, it's supposed to be related to the agenda so that they can run an efficient meeting. So nobody's ever denied anybody public input. You just reach out that week before or even that day of and say, hey, I'd like to talk about this. And they're very accommodating, I've found in the past. So I don't see a need for this. I think it was petty and misleading by some people in town, and that's specifically what made me come speak opposed to it today.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Brownrigg.
Yep. 2 Little Hills Lane, Hudson, of course. Just have a question on it by the petitioner. The word citizen, does that mean anybody can come in, or is that meaning just Hudson citizens only? Are we open? We usually do open the doors mainly for residents only, but is this open the door for anyone off the street to come in and speak?
Well, I can answer that.
Please.
A public hearing, a public meeting is open to anyone. Whether they speak or not, I'm not sure if you can put a restriction on that, but if you have a public input session, then it is open to the public and non-residents can come in as they have and speak to the boards.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Jasper.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. So I just want to share an experience that I had as chairman of the Charter Commission way back 100 years ago. The town council didn't have public input, and we on the committee thought this would be great. Let's require the town council to have public input. Well, they did, but they never had a quorum present. At the beginning of every meeting, they reserved a half an hour, 2 or 3 people would show up, and you never got to address the quorum. So while this is just advisory, that was an actual charter amendment, and there was still a way around it. So, I mean, it's really irrelevant. It's whatever the board is going to decide they want to do. So even if you vote for it, don't think that this is going to require anything to change, because unfortunately it won't. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Further discussion?
Dean Sockety, 11 Fairway Drive, super supportive of this. It's really, really important. As an abutter that just went through a process before the planning board for one of the largest projects in New Hampshire, it's really critical that the public be allowed to speak. And I get it. If you're on the planning board, some of it feels redundant, and it might be, but you got to let people speak. It's super important for them to get their information out there. And a lot of times, it was a little disappointing at times when we were before the planning board, because there's a lot of really, really good information, people in the community that have really thoughtful ideas, really good perspectives, that if they're not given the time to speak, it's ignored, it's lost, and that's not better for the town. And, just simple things, like, we were given very tight time frames to speak by 3 minutes. There was stopwatches. I get it that people might go a little bit too long, but just like we've done here today, we've voted several times to let people continue to voice their thoughts. Same thing for all the boards. And I know I'm at the zoning board. We do it for each case, but maybe we should extend that at the beginning, a few minutes. If people want to come and just share whatever it is they're thinking, put it out there. It'll be good for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 28, required public input? Seeing none, I will close the discussion on Article 28, and it moves to the ballot.